Hey, my friends, how we doing today? Well, I'm just gonna hang out with y'all, see who wants to stop by, and talk about some fragrances I got in today. Some new fragrance experiences, some new fragrance finds, some new fragrances just in the life and the world of a fragrance enthusiast, in the world of a fragrance lover. That's what it's all about. I'm kind of chill. Hope that I don't seem low energy right now. I am a little bit tired, so just chilling out with y'all. Anyways, hello there. How y'all doing? Let me know if y'all want to smell or hear about indie first, or some of my more niche, some of the more expensive fragrances I have that I got. Anyways, Mansara Instant Crush is one of the decants that I got. Mansara Instant Crush is really nice. Today was the first day I got to try this fragrance. Instant Crush by Mansara. I'm probably late to the game. A lot of y'all probably already know what this smells like. A lot of y'all probably already have your bottles. Today was the first time I'd ever gotten to try it, so happy that I got to try it today. Have some sprayed on my arm. I can see why people like this so much. It's so playful, it's so fun. It has a little bit more of a caramel vibe, almost more of like a really subdued, like really light leatheriness. Um, I like it much better than Baccarat Rouge 540. If I was to recommend you a fragrance that's had that kind of vibe and that cheerfulness, that playfulness, that cotton vibe, um, you know, this is a pretty good fragrance. Instant Crush by Mansara. It is a really nice juice. You know that sometimes I like to be a rebel. It's nice to have a different opinion than everybody else. It's nice to maybe just feel a little bit different, but sometimes the crowd is right. Sometimes the hype is real. Instant Crush is good juice. I personally don't love it exactly for myself. I love a lot of the time like heavier leathers and ouds and tobaccos and things like that. But by golly, I can't deny that Instant Crush is a nice fragrance. Gonna get you compliments. Gonna get you positive attention. I do have to say that wearing this, I can see where it might remind people of Baccarat Rouge 540, but I don't see a lot of similarities. I don't really see a lot of the similarities. It doesn't really have the medicinal oud of Baccarat Rouge 540. Yes, it's playful and sweet and fun, but it doesn't really have any of that airiness and that ambergris. It doesn't really have a lot of, to me, what makes Baccarat Rouge 540 the fragrance it is. To me, this, if I was to compare this to anything, and I think it's its own fragrance, and if it takes inspiration from anything, I personally feel like it copies The Chronic by Byron a little bit more. Maybe it's a fusion of maybe they took both, The Chronic by Byron and they took Baccarat Rouge 540 and they slammed them together, put them in a machine, and that said that's the kind of fragrance we want. They're both big two top sellers. One's a little bit more rich, and one's a little bit more airy and playful. It has really good longevity. Both of them aren't bad on longevity, so really nice fragrance. I think that Mansara is doing fantastic. I think that both of the brands are doing very well for themselves. They're selling well. People know that they're good fragrances. Their name is getting out there, and I think they're starting to make releases that the people want. I think they're starting to pay attention a little bit more. Recently, they released Arabians Tonka, and I want that fragrance so bad. I love the original Arabians, and they made it like sweet and gourmand, and I can only imagine the leather and the heavy Tonka and the sweetness. I really want Arabians Tonka. Hey there, Doug Dreyer. How you doing this evening? I'm doing good. It's good to hear from you. I'm just chilling out with y'all, having a good time. Let me know what's on your mind. What do you want to talk about? I have three fragrances here from Luxury Scent Box. They did send these to me, which was very generous of them. I'm very grateful to them, and I'm going to do some reviews in the future and let y'all know my thoughts about the value. Are they good value for money? Do they have good fragrances or enough fragrances? I'm going to give y'all my opinion, and I'm very thankful because, again, I've never tried any three of these fragrances. I hadn't tried any of them, so another one. I'll share another one of y'all. These luxury scent boxes. These are big decants, and this is Cure Cordoba from the house of Kiko Mecherie. Now, I don't think a lot of people out there know Kiko Mesheri. I think they're a fantastic brand. Their fragrances do tend to be a little bit lighter and fresher, maybe a little bit more on the the Creed-ish side of things. But if you like Gallivant, if you like Byredo, if you like Creed, please give Keiko Mesheri a try. All their fragrances are more on the modern side and the unisex side of things. I personally, again, do like more of the heavier things like tobaccos and leathers and ouds. So the brand doesn't appeal to me personally, and they do kind of make their fragrances more for ladies, but they do have a lot of unisex fragrances, and they're really nice. And Musk Nobilis is very, very unisex, and I love that fragrance. I have a bottle. It's probably my favorite musk that I've ever come across. So, like a pure musk fragrance. Anyways, Cure Cordoba is a beautiful, like ambrette leather fragrance. It's very soft, very nice, very approachable. Um, it it's not it doesn't project very much though. I wish it projected longer, lasted longer. But it's certainly a decent leather fragrance. I think that if I was to recommend any leather to a lady, if you've always been scared of a leather fragrance, if you've never thought that you would ever want to have a leather fragrance, I think that Cure Cordoba by Kiko Mesheri is probably the one I would recommend. It doesn't have a small price tag. It is expensive. Um, Misty says hi. Ben says, "How you doing this evening, Misty? It's good to see you." Misty says, "I am a member of Luxury Scent Box." Yeah, I think the brand is nice. I'll let y'all know more about what I think about the value. And recently, I do have a big video coming out on Scentbird. I was challenged by Mr. Cheap Scents a while ago to do that video. Um, I think and I was kind of motivated to do the video because some people out there think the brand is absolutely terrible. I actually don't have a good opinion of the brand overall. I actually don't like the brand particularly overall, Scentbird. But, price wise, you can get away with getting a decent fragrance for a decent price. I'll break it down in my video. Y'all gotta stay tuned for that. But Scentbird is certainly not the best option, but it's not exactly a terrible, terrible company in the world in the scheme of things. But I just don't like how they go about with influencers and some of the other things I'll mention for with y'all. I don't really like how they do business, or I guess I don't like their business strategy. anyways, yeah, and anyways, all respect to Ash, over there. Gent Sense, he did a fantastic job, and I still respect his video. But y'all know what some people do. They they hear something, maybe somebody paraphrases or just simplifies something, and then they think, they just steer clear because of a negative opinion, when there's a lot more to the brand and a company than just one factor, or one opinion. So anyways, Doug Dreyer says, heading into a spring, I'd like to see more fresh, clean scents reviewed. Yeah, you got it, my friend. I'll be doing that. I still have some cold weather fragrances. I still kind of like to wear those in the spring, especially spring nights. But yeah, I'll be pulling out some of the more green fragrances, some of the more fresh and crisp fragrances. Y'all know I just mentioned Cody Aspen, and even though that stuff's a cheap little booger, if y'all love the cheapies and the affordable fragrances, Cody Aspen, if you're a gentleman, if you like green fragrances, it's very nostalgic and it's very fun, and it reminds me of a good forest. So very nice. Anyway, Swift Sense, it's good to see you here today. How are you doing? I see you retracted your message. You can share whatever you want. Say what you want to say. Say what you need to say. Randy Hayter says, thoughts on Rogue Perfumer Mousse Illumine. I'm thinking about picking up a bottle. I don't remember Mousse Illumine. I think I have tried it. I do like Rogue Perfumery. I think Rogue does a good job with their fragrances. There's a lot of big fragrance aficionados and big fragrance heads that have really given a very good opinion of the brand. My dad actually bought a bottle of the Oakmoss focused fragrance they have. I think it might be their top seller. I really like the brand being a rebel against IFRA. If you want real oak moss, it's not illegal per se. It's just that if you work with big bottling brands, they're going to play by the rules of IFRA. They're going to play by those regulations, and you can't get those high concentrations of certain notes, things like oak moss anymore, unless you play with the United States, which is more free, for perfumers to kind of do what they want. So you can still get an oak moss focused fragrance or an oak moss balm. You can still buy the pure, ingredient if you just want to lather yourself with it. But you got to play the just like on YouTube. People are playing the game of top 10 lists and all that stuff, and some of us don't want to play that game. So, anyways, um, I have again. I don't remember Musa Lemony. I think it was nice. The one that stood out to me from Rogue Perfumery, the fragrance that really grabbed my attention, I thought maybe was the best from the brand, was the Devonish. I think that's how you say it. The Devonish from the brand was the best one, I thought. Really grabbed my attention. If I remember right, it just had a really nice body to it and a really interesting like spiciness and sultriness, and almost has a little bit of that classic animalic vibe without being off-putting or strange to people. I still feel like I don't know if I want to say it's retro. I feel like the fragrance isn't exactly even retro. I feel like it's like almost like modern, and it pulls inspiration from vintage. It's a little bit, the brand seems to me a little bit more modern than leaning towards the vintage side, if that makes sense. Like if you had a bar and something's completely modern or completely vintage, I feel like they lean a little bit more on the modern side, but of course use the great vintage ingredients. I hope I didn't rant too long, but it's a nice brand. If you're really into niche and indie fragrances, indie perfumes, Rogue Perfumery might be something you're really interested in. I do like, I don't like things to be uber complex, but a lot of their fragrances, some of their fragrances were complex, like Devonish, but some of their fragrances just didn't have a lot of complexity for me. I do have to be honest. I did want maybe something a little bit heavier or something a little bit richer. I'd lean towards things like Nishane. I love how they do things. The DFW Shade says, looking at Amouage Imitation Man on sale at Max Aroma this week. Any thoughts on it? Thanks. Imitation Man. I'm trying to remember what that one smells like. I somehow always seem to get Imitation and Fate Man mixed up in my head, so I don't want to say anything for certain. You can't really go wrong with the Amouage if you get it at a good discount. Max Aroma is a really good place to go, but I would compare and go to FragranceNet, which is also very reputable. They're very trusted. I've bought most of my fragrances, probably more than half of them from FragranceNet. I've only had two problems with them. One time they accepted my return, and one of them I just decided to decant it out and keep the bottle. But so FragranceNet really has never given me a problem before. So I got my bottle of Jubilation 25 for like half off. Anyways, if you can get an Amouage sometimes for like 150 bucks is what I'm saying, which to me is an amazing value and an amazing price. I've heard that if you live more in the Middle East or around that area, that Amouages are even less. Of course, if you want a foreign fragrance, just like I've talked to people in Australia, and they really dislike how much they have to pay for import taxes and how expensive the fragrances are for them if they buy a foreign fragrance. So yeah, we experience the same thing. You pay a lot more because it's a foreign fragrance, and some brands kind of try to make an extra buck off of that. Like y'all know about Creed, nicknamed Greed. Their fragrances cost almost extra $100 here in the USA than they do in France. So, anyways, I think Amouage is fantastic. I love Miss. I respect Journeyman. Journeyman's really good, and Jubilation, of course, is to me a masterpiece. Jubilation, to me, is fantastic, and I really want to try Portrayal Man. Portrayal looks fantastic and exciting. I really want to try that one too. Anyways, hope that helped you a little bit. I'm sorry. Ray Ford says, "How's it going, Ben? How you doing, Ray Ford?" And SwiftSense was in here a second ago. It's good to see you both. How you doing this evening? What fragrances have you been into? What have you been wearing? Favorite Comme des Garçons? Funny you ask. It's definitely Wonder Oud. I don't like an animalic oud. I don't like daring oud. I like a more wearable oud. I don't exactly go for things like oud for greatness. But if you're a big oud head, I think that you would probably say that Wonder Oud doesn't really have any real oud. It's actually pretty easy to wear if you want a dark, sultry fragrance, maybe more on that dark, almost on the dark patchouli side of things. Wonder Oud is very classy and very nice. It almost has a little bit of that, almost like sharp inkiness, like almost a little bit of that vetiver quality to it, that might remind you of something like Zeno by Davidoff or Encre Noir by Lalique. So I love that fragrance by Comme des Garçons. I do need to try more of them. I think they have. I just heard a fantastic review of a fragrance they have called Black. I think the fragrance is just called Black. And Comme des Garçons has a lot of releases. It's another one of those houses that people have heard a little bit about them here and there. Whispers of the brand, but they haven't really dived into the house completely. Montal's getting more popular, but really Montal has like a hundred releases, like 100 fragrances. There's so much to explore, even with some of the name brands that we already know. And then there's so many more fragrances out there to explore. So many things. It's always fascinating. Anyways, hope I helped you there. Wonder Oud is definitely my favorite. I don't. I think they're probably all sold by now, but Fragrance by CA was liquidating a bunch of a certain collection from Comme des Garçons. They were like super super cheap. I think they were selling them for like 70 or 80 bucks a pop. So hope that helped you, Jay Powers. Hope to helped you. Hope I helped you if I can speak. Ray Ford says, I'm thinking of getting Oud In by Xerjoff. You ever tried that one? Udin. I think I have. It's been a long while. It's been a year or more. I think I've tried that one. I personally haven't had any Xerjoffs that have really grabbed my attention enough for me to really put them on a buy list. Like I have to have this fragrance. Besides Renaissance, and even with my love for Renaissance, I truly love that fragrance. It's fresh and aromatic and classy. And I love the mint. I love the mint from it. I don't know if I want to pay that price anytime soon. Xerzoff is very expensive, as y'all know. Just like MFK, I respect Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and I've smelled quite a fair amount, a fair few of their fragrances. But none of them have ever struck me as I have to buy this or I need this, and I love it. None of them have grabbed my attention in a big way. Um, but anyways, if you love it, man, rock it. I mean, buy it, go for it. But I always get a good deal. Get a good deal. Find a discount code. I heard of about. I think honey's getting really popular. I don't use it, but I've heard honey is good. Um, DFW says agreed. Creed seems overpriced. Good stuff. Just like 100 or 200 that I'd want. My Creed collection is pretty much frozen in time nowadays. Got what I wanted from Creed. I'm leaving it there. Yeah, they do have some good releases, and I sometimes probably sound like I really dislike Creed or I'm nagging on them. I do that for a couple reasons. I think their prices are too high for what they are, especially because with some of their fragrances, especially Aventus Cologne, they took away the ambergris, so they're selling you a cheaper fragrance. Y'all know that they're giving you less juice. They used to be like 4 ounce bottles, and now they're like 3.3. So they're charging you the same price for less juice. So they were sneaky about that. Some companies do that, and I really dislike it. It happens in the food industry all the time. They make your burger, whatever you're eating, like 10. They make it smaller by degrees, like 10 to 20%, and then they find that area where people are satisfied enough with the product to still keep buying it, and that's what Creed's done. They're like, the average person's happy with 3.3 ounces, and if we just decrease it, just enough, people really won't notice. We won't go really sell a smaller bottle than 100 mils, but you're getting less juice for your money. And then of course they probably kind of price gouge the USA. But they're not a bad brand. Creed's still a nice brand. There's no dispute that they have been very influential in the fragrance world. I mean, Aventus has changed the fragrance game completely. Very influential. It's going to be selling for decades. I mean, Aventus probably is never going to go away. It's a Hall of Fame fragrance like Dior Fahrenheit. People are always going to talk about it. I don't wear it. I don't own a bottle. I don't really love that fragrance, and I guess it's snobbish. I'll admit to it, but I like to smell a little bit unique. If I pay for niche, it's because I want something exclusive that nobody in my city is going to own, that very few people have heard of, and maybe nobody in my whole state or people around me have never heard of it, or never smelled it before. That's the reason I would ever pay for niche. Besides, of course, the quality and the art and the beauty of it all. Um, to me, that really depreciates or brings down the value of a Ventus for me personally. You know, some people might like that. They might like that their friend wears a Ventus, or their cousin wears a Ventus, or their dad wears a Ventus. But for me, that really brings down the value of a fragrance because it's not exclusive anymore. It's almost to me like wearing a high grade or a high level designer fragrance. But of course, Aventus is fantastic. I'm not saying that it's designer quality whatsoever. Anyways, about the only Creed that I would ever personally buy for myself, maybe if I found a amazing deal like $150 for their 70 mil, I think it is. I would get Spice and Wood. Spice and Wood is really nice, and I really like the fragrance. And y'all know that I want to become a perfumer. So one day I'll make my own fragrance that pulls a little bit of inspiration. Not a clone at all, not at all. But I would take the best of that. A sparkling cardamom. That's what I truly love from Spice and Wood. That sparkly cardamom, that beautiful spiciness. I don't even really like the woody dry down of Spice and Wood. I just love that spicy, fresh, happy, classy, so classy, and so refreshing spiciness of Spice and Wood. I just love it. But I don't want to pay $300 for it whatsoever. And even though it's truly beautiful and truly classy, it doesn't really smell very unique in my opinion. I mean, it smells a little bit unique, but not overtly so. I mean, if I was to wear Spice Bomb on the street, the average girl out there would probably like Spice Bomb over Spice and Wood. And performance wise, Spice Bomb, even though it's been reformulated, probably still outperforms Spice and Wood. So, anyways, let's stop talking about Creed. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. The Creed friends are gonna hate. The Creed lovers are gonna hate me. Ray Ford says, I've been going mostly clones. I like Genre and Alexandria, moving into Montage now. I haven't tried Genre really. Alexandria has some good releases. I really love Black Tie Affair. I really do love, what's that one called? Hawaii Volcano Intense. Wonderful fragrances with great performance and great value for the money. I heard they have I really need to get Alexandra's version of Spice and Wood, see if I love it. And I really like Italian Cypress. Italian Cypress by Tom Ford. And I really need to try their version and see if it really stands up to the original. The original Italian Cypress is so good. I might just have to go for the real deal one day because that's one of the Tom Fords that I truly love. Some of their releases are kind of lackluster to me, but my goodness, that Italian Cypress, it gets me. Anyways, Montage sounds good. I've seen those; they look nice. The Fragensteins in the house. How you doing, my friend? I'm doing pretty nice. It's been a good day. Been keeping busy. I tried to relax a little bit. We're gonna hopefully cook a little bit later and have something good to eat. So, looking forward to all that. It's been a pretty decent day. I've tried to take it easy, stayed busy. Um, I really don't like it down here when people do all this yard work, but that's just me. How have you been doing? I forgot to ask ask you back. Rose Go Lightly says, "Hey Ben, is Wonder Oud leaning more masculine or good unisex fragrance?" Um, in my opinion, it leans more masculine. It has a little bit of that sharp, almost vetiver quality. So Wonder Oud to me is certainly more masculine in my opinion. If you're a very, very confident lady, you could wear it. If you want a confident fragrance and you're a lady, if you do like more, the fragrances are on the masculine side, I would encourage you to probably get Black Orchid by Tom Ford. And if you want something that's a little bit sweeter and definitely seductive, try Plum Japonais by Tom Ford as well. As far I'm trying to think of something else that you might like if you want something dark and oody. Of course, there's Oud Bouquet by Lancome. The EDP version's fantastic, but of course, please anybody, I do recommend that fragrance sometimes for ladies. Please do not buy that fragrance off of eBay unless you're very, very sure what you're getting into. For some reason, Oud Bouquet is heavily faked out there, as well as some of the creeds, especially Aventus. Don't buy super popular fragrances off of eBay unless you really know what you're getting into and you're very sure about the buyer and you're maybe prepared to get a fake. Because if you buy Aventus off of eBay, there's a lot of scammers. There's people who meddle the fragrances, who dilute them, who sell you fakes, who, you know, mix in, pineapple essential oil into Club de Nuit Intense and make hybrid fragrances. And there's a lot of these people who don't know what the real thing smells like, and they're getting gypped out of a lot of money. And that's one reason that Creed has really came down on decanters and resellers so much. I really don't like what they're doing, but I understand why. And they're also losing money because when they sell those big flacons and then the decanters, parcel them out and make a business out of it, that's, Creed's losing some money for that. And I understand why they don't like people doing that. So, I don't know. It's a catch 22. It's a catch 22. Anyways, I hope I helped you out. There's some wonderful, good dark fragrances out there. If you want something that's still pretty easy to get your hands on, it's a gorgeous ladies fragrance. It's gorgeous. There's, Crystal Noir by Versace, and I think I was watching a Curly Sense video. Yeah, it was Curly Sense recently, and if y'all probably know who she is. She's a really funny, a wonderful, fantastic reviewer, and the guys on his channel just went crazy for Crystal Noir, and I was hoping that they would like it. I love it too. So if you're a lady out there, it's a little bit on the subtle side. You might have to get a little bit close or maybe spray a little bit extra on. But if you're trying to tantalize a guy, ladies, Crystal Noir is a pretty good one. Crystal Noir by Versace, and it's affordable. It's pretty easy to get your hands on. It's not bad. Anyways, I just wanted to give a little bit time for the ladies because I don't always do that, and I review fragrances that often I get my hands on, and because I do lean more towards the masculine sense, I sometimes don't give ladies all the time on my channels. So hope that you appreciate that, ladies. Anyways, I bought Fragranza's MFK dupes, and they were straight on. Yeah, I got, I think it was Oud Satin Mood. I got their version, and it was really nice. It was really close to the real thing, and they have great performance. Fragranza has some really nice fragrances, and they have original creations too. I really love their Rivolare, and the Peach or Blue is probably my favorites for ladies so far. The one that really has gotten me from from Fragranza is Oriental Diamond. It's so clean and classy and fresh and crisp. It's very nice, and there's not a lot of clean, pristine, like white, classy fragrances. Fragrances that would suit like a white dress or something like that. There's not a lot of fragrances like that out there. Something in the world of Reflection Man, Prada El Homme, and the like. Guys, something that's more clean. There's not a lot of those for the ladies, so I really recommend that one. And there is Reflection Woman. A lot of people don't talk about Reflection Woman by Amouage, but Reflection Woman is truly gorgeous. I love that fragrance. I mean, if you're trying to be attracted to, I don't know, a guy who likes my kind of fragrance taste. Um, Anyways, yeah, Fragranza has some good stuff. Timio says, just made a decent size haul Code Perfume 6.7 Aqua di Gio, Spice Bomb Extreme, and Parfums de Marley Layton. Oh, that's a nice haul, my friend. Yeah, those are some good fragrances. You got Aqua di Gio Profumo, you got Spice Bomb Extreme, and you got Parfums de Marley Layton. Um, those are nice fragrances. They'll always do you right. They're nice. They're easy to wear. They're not bad for the price. Some people are hit and miss for Layton. Some people really love Layton, and some people aren't into it. I think it's pretty good. I do have a complaint with, Parfum de Marly's prices, but overall, it's a nice fragrance. And if you're first getting into niche as a guy, I probably would. That's one of the fragrances I would probably recommend for a guy. If you're first getting into niche, if you don't know where to go for niche, especially if you're a younger guy, I probably would recommend you try not blind buy. Blind buy is always risky, but especially with niche, you know, I'll say it. I've said it before. It's so true. Niche. There's so many fragrances out there, and niche is trying to be different. It's trying to be daring. It's not supposed to be for everybody. Not every fragrance is supposed to be easy for everybody to understand. And some people have been talking about mass appealing niche fragrances, but the reason why niche is really around is but it's kind of an oxymoron if you say mass appealing niche, because niche is like a small group of people. It fits a certain interest, a certain ideal, a certain group of people. So mass appealing means for like it appeals to everybody, and niche is the complete opposite, where it's like small for a small group of people. So anyways, I'm just saying that niche is risky. I kind of suggest that you'd never blind buy, especially niche. But of course, your money is your money, and some people find it very fun, and they find it very exciting to take a risk on blind buying something expensive. So if you have the money, I mean, feel free to play with it. But I don't have the kind of money to just, take a risk on $200. So do what you want to do, though. Very good fragrances, though, Timio. Good choices all around. Life says, what people say Eros is just for partying. I find it one of the most versatile fragrances. Yeah, you're very right. Versace Eros is very versatile. You can wear it all year round. I do think that maybe it's not best for the high heat, but it's a good fragrance for anywhere, anytime, any day. Um, when fragrance reviewers say that, they just, something gets established, people trust a certain catchphrase, and they just kind of say it. Just like Mugler cologne, everybody used to say like the Irish Spring in a bottle, bar soap in a bottle. So everybody kind of repeats it because it's established and people trust it. I don't think they're trying to say that it's only good for partying in clubs. I think they're just saying that it's kind of like one of the go-to, happy, go lucky, easy to wear, playful fragrances for a young man. Um, I, I mean, it's all up to you and your personality and where you live and where you work. I don't know if it has the right vibe for a office, but certainly everyday casual wear, going to work, going to school, feeling good and just having a good time. Versace Eros is a nice fragrance. It's personally not my fragrance for me personally, but I certainly do recommend respect the fragrance for sure. It's a really nice fragrance. And if y'all haven't, there's one I kind of recommend as an alternative. I actually gave it away because I'm so picky. I have to find my Goldilocks. I haven't found it yet for that Versace Eros DNA. That minty vanilla vibe. But anyways, I think it was In the Navy. The Jean Paul Gaultier flanker called In the Navy is actually a really nice, mass appealing, versatile scent. I know that some people kind of criticized it for not being particularly original or changing anything, but I don't feel like it's just another boring blue release. I feel like it's a pretty solid release. It has a little bit of salt to it. It's a little bit cold. It's refreshing. It's minty, and I feel like it's probably the best Jean Paul Gaultier out there in my personal opinion. They're coming out with a new Aviator release that I think focuses more on violet, and I'm really interested to see what that smells like. I really would like to see what that can smell like. Maybe it'll tone down that vanilla a little bit, and maybe it'll be the perfect Jean Paul Gaultier for me. because I've certainly tried a lot of the flankers and have really attempted to give Jean Paul Gaultier a good run for their money. They just haven't got me yet. Anyways, let me catch up with the comments. The Frankenstein says, testing some Happy Land fragrances today, and just an average lazy Saturday, I guess. Yeah, lazy Saturdays are nice. It's always nice to take a little bit of time for yourself. You know, you probably had a hard week. You probably worked really hard. You know, gotta take a little bit of time for yourself to recharge a little bit, to relax a little bit. Take it easy. So, I hope you take it easy, my friend. I hope that you have a good Saturday, have a good Sunday. Live it up a little bit if you want to. Happy Land fragrances are great, and they're really strong concentrations for the money. You get good value for your money, great performance. I think I recently saw Centurion. I think he talked about it was Home for the Holidays. It's a really good release. I haven't tried that one yet, but sorry, excuse me. I really want to. I really like Rhyolite. Y'all know that Signature is fantastic. I have not tried Cravat Noir. I really want to try it. I actually really am a big fan of Tuxedo. By Yves Saint Laurent, if I can ever say it right, like Yves Saint Laurent, if you speak French. Anyways, let me catch up with the comments. Rose Go Lightly says, "Thanks for answering. I'll check out Plum Japonais, and Oud Bouquet is already on my try list. Yeah, I think you'd be very happy with Plum Japonais. It's more on the dark, slightly woody side of things, but it's still sweet. It has a gorgeous dark plum note to it. I think that, in my personal opinion, especially for a lady, Plum Japonais is one of the best Tom Fords out there. It's gorgeous, and I don't know why not talked about enough. And a lot of people love plum notes. Everybody talks about Sensual Obsessions, Andy Warhol, and some of these fragrances that have a good plum. Things like almost like, I think it's Ultramol by Jean Paul Gaultier. Anyways, that Plum Japonais, that's just the real deal. DFW Shade says, "Love Reflection Man." Yeah, Reflection Man's a good fragrance. It just didn't last very long on my skin, and for the price, for me personally, I probably would go for a Platinum Egoist. But Reflection Man's a really nice fragrance. It is. It's kind of one of the best wedding fragrances, or when you want to dress up, be really fancy, white tuxedo, white suit, sharp dressed man. Reflection Man's a really nice fragrance. I do feel, for me personally, it's my personal opinion, but I feel like maybe it's a little bit younger. But maybe I'm an old soul. People have told me that before. I don't lean exactly towards the vintage fragrances a lot, but I can be a little bit of a, I don't know, love some of the green fragrances. So anyways, let me see here. Oh, DJ's in the house. Hey, DJ Ginkai, how you doing? It's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Scent of the day is Lyric Man. Can't understand why people say Grandma soap. I've never said that. I do need to give it another try. I haven't tried that one in a while, but I've never said that. So anyways, Plum Japonais versus Andy Warhol. Well, y'all know that I really care about helping y'all get a good value for money. Sometimes some fragrances are beautiful. Some fragrances are truly gorgeous. But if I am to rate a fragrance, and if it's not available to you to buy, or if the fragrance isn't really worth the value for the money, to me, value really matters. If something smells fantastic, and absolutely gorgeous, and it costs $500, and I think it's only worth 300, and if another fragrance, is only $100, and it doesn't smell as nice or last as long, but it's a good value for the money, I'm probably going to recommend you the $100 fragrance. That's just how I am. So I think Andy Warhol, if we're talking about the real Bond Number 9, people are charging $500 plus a bottle. I wouldn't be amazed if somebody out there would be willing to pay $1,000 for, the real Andy Warhol edition, the purple bottle with Andy Warhol's face on it. I wouldn't be amazed if somebody would pay $1,000 for that these days. It's very desirable and very discontinued and very hard to get your hands on. So I definitely, if we're comparing those two, probably would say the Plum Japonais. Uh, Anyways, DJ says love Plum Japanese, but for performance was terrible. Yeah, performance wasn't fantastic on it. Um, what kind of performance did you get? I think I was getting like 6 or so. It wasn't exactly bad, but it wasn't great. Need to find a beast mode level fig. Um, a beast mode level fig. Well, if you're not afraid of florals, and if you're not afraid of gardenia, you might want to look at 10 a.m. Flirt by the House of Kieran NYC. It's a brand new brand. It came out about, I want to say, 6 months or a year ago out of New York City. They're a really interesting brand. I really like what they got going on. And it's a fig fragrance, and I think it's really the best. They came out with 4 fragrances, and I think that that one's probably their best one, the 10 a.m. Flirt. It's very floral, it's very aldehydic, but it has a beautiful fig, and it lasts a very long time. Figs, for some reason, just don't last very long. I really do like the note. Y'all know I like Fico di Amalfi by Acqua di Parma. I love that fragrance, I truly do. But it just doesn't last very long. You know, it's going to give me like 5 hours or so. It just doesn't last. So that's one reason I haven't bought it. And I got that 10 a.m. Flirt, and I thought I was going to be afraid of it because of the gardenia, but it's kind of grown on me. It is kind of floral, so be prepared for that. It's going to give you a big punch of gardenia right to the jaw, but that fig in it, it's gorgeous. It's a nice one. That's about the strongest fig I think I can recommend. The strongest fig I've ever tried. Um, Let's see. Rob Whiff's in the house. What up, fam? How you doing, my brother? My buddy? The Fragstein says, I am testing Ohm for the holidays today, lol. What are the odds? Yeah. The fragrance world is a small place. Small world, my friend. Rob Whiff says, hey, I'm rocking Amen Kryptonite. Yeah, Mugler Kryptonite. And wow, I am late to the game because this juice is fantastic. Sleeper, in my opinion. Yeah, that one's it kind of got mixed reviews. You know, some people liked it and some people didn't. It kind of got mixed reviews, kind of like Ultra Zest did. And you know, brands, they want top sellers, they want big sellers. You know, they probably want to meet a certain quota. So I'm not sure if that's discontinued, but especially with them being bought out, if you love that fragrance, you know, I'm not, when I say these kinds of things, I hope that y'all don't think I'm trying to scare you, but you know, Mugler has been bought out, and if you do like the current formulations of any of the Mugler fragrances, especially you know, ones that are a little bit more obscure or less popular, like Crypto Mint, you got to get your backup bottle now before the prices go sky high. The prices on those are going to go crazy. So it's just like Dior. I'll say it again. I'm saying a public fragrance announcement. If you like your current formulations of Dior, if you love the Dior Homme line of fragrances, they came out with a new formulation of the Dior Homme 2020. It's going to replace the original eventually, and it has no iris, and it's pretty much a completely different fragrance. And the way things are looking, they're probably going to touch the rest of the line slowly but surely. They're probably going to change and maybe discontinue some of them. Who knows? Maybe they'll discontinue the Dior Homme Parfum if they don't think it sells good enough. So who knows? But anyways, if you love it, definitely get a. If you can't live without it, get a backup bottle. Anyways, once Joseph how do you say that your last name? Tamian says, "What up, Ben? Long time ago, Ben. Scent of the day. One spray of Ultramol. Yeah, how you doing? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you in a while, but that's a really nice fragrance. Really nice, for sure. And that fragrance is pretty strong. You could probably get away with just one spray of Ultramol, especially if you're indoors or around family or friends or something. You don't need to spray a lot of Ultramol on to get some serious performance. Let me see here. I love Plum Japonais. Yeah, Plum Japonais. Darren is fantastic. It's good to see you, Darren. Darren Newell in the house. Plum Japonais. Great. It's a good fragrance. Rob Whiff says, in my opinion, probably two of the best right now from Amen. Yeah. What's your favorites? For me, Pure Tonka is the best, and I've never smelled a vintage bottle of pure malt, but I've heard it was really nice before it was reformulated. So I bet pure malt was gorgeous, but I haven't tried it. I appreciate Pure Havana, but Pure Tonka is probably my favorite. I thought Ultra Zest was all right, but it just wasn't for me. And Crypto Mint, I don't know, the minty and then chocolatey patchouli kind of reminded me of those. There's those candies with that like mint cream filling. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a certain like chocolate flavor, like chocolate crusted candy with this like mint cream inside of it, and it always reminded me of it. And it's not a negative thought, it's not a negative memory or anything funny like that, but it just didn't work. I don't know why. It's a funny thing. Let me see here. Buy a cup bottle boss says hi y'all. Hope y'all having a good night. Yeah, good to see you, my friend. How you doing this evening? Good to see you. DJ says always support you, Ben. Keep up making content. I appreciate that, DJ. You know, I'm a fragrance reviewer. I'm a human being, and I've been tempted a time or two not to keep doing this because it's like a second job, and with little to no pay. And it's a lot of work, but I do love fragrances. It's just a lot to keep up with, especially be very consistent. And y'all know that I've been very, very consistent for the last, I don't know, 6 months or so. I've been extremely consistent. I've always been pretty consistent, but for the last 6 months or so, I have been rock solid. For the last 2 or 3 months, I've been uploading like a video like every day, and I have like 10 or videos in K. I've actually stepped up, so I can. I'm not really going to do more editing, and that's one reason I've been able to. I've really solidified and really become. I feel like I've become better at formulating my thoughts, and I've made less bloopers. I still make bloopers. I still make mistakes in my videos, but I don't make as many of them. And I feel like I can do a clean video without any edits throughout. I mean, sometimes you have to do an edit, but it really saves me on time if I don't have to do that. So, anyways, I appreciate that. I appreciate the encouragement and the love. It's definitely a journey to try to be a YouTuber and a fragrance lover. It's a real journey to really put yourself out there, really put all the work forward in the beginning, and then hope for a payoff. Later on. It's like a big investment. You pay into it, and you're hoping for bigger rewards at the end. So, anyways, I love this fragrance journey, my friends. Thank y'all so much for being friends with me. Thank y'all so much for being friends with me and being a part of this fragrance journey with me. Anyways, Darren says, could you compare Plum Japanese to a designer I might have heard of? There's not a lot that smells like it. Have you tried Central Obsessions, Andy Warhol? It has oud and like a very modern, wearable, dark oud, like synthetic oud, and a really nice plum. If you've tried that, it's distantly similar, and maybe distantly because of the plum, maybe Ultramall, but it's not really similar to Ultramall at all. It's its own fragrance. It's completely different. So I don't know. There's not a lot that's similar. The Dark Vibe might remind you slightly of Dark Rebel by John Varvatos, but it's definitely a different fragrance. It's its own creation for sure. But the vibe of it, the woodiness and the dry down and that vibe, it might remind you a little bit of Dark Rebel in a way, but it's much more wearable, and the plum and the sweetness, and it's really nice. Now let me see here. Catch up with these comments. Does Chanel ever go on sale anywhere? Don't really see a presence online discounters. Rest in peace, Notino. And I've always excluded from sales at places like Macy's and Neiman Marcus. Chanel does a very good job of controlling their supplies. And they really don't let their fragrances ever get to discounters, and they never really liquidate their stock. They like to control their brand and make sure their brand doesn't get out there like that. a brand has a really big name behind it, if they want to be very exclusive and uphold their brand name with their business strategy, it actually helps them in the long run. Like for their purses, for example, if they have a $5,000 purse, even if it's going to sit there for a year, they're never going to sell it for like 1,000 or 500. Sell it for cost. They're never going to sell it for $800. A $5,000 purse, even though it only cost $500 to make it. They're never going to do that because it would make their brand look cheap and disposable. They'll sometimes sell it to a liquidator, or they'll just lower the price maybe a little bit, and get you to buy into like some special sale or something. So yeah, Chanel's almost never go on sale. You can get around it if you buy from a Neiman Marcus or Barney's or somewhere. If they do have a 10 or 15% off, if you're really lucky, you can get maybe 10% off a Chanel. But those sales don't happen every day. Then sometimes you can get some cash back deals, like if you pay into it, pay $500 and you get $50 back. So sometimes you can get some sales. Sometimes you can get a good discount. So, anyways, I hope I helped you out there. Dior does the same thing. Dior really controls their supplies. Doug Dreyer says that's insane. Yeah, it can be crazy. DFW Shade Notino is still around, just not in the USA market. Big over in Europe. Yeah, it's very true. Very true. And there's some really good discounters out there. There's still FragranceNet. Their shipping is slow. It's annoying, but they do have good prices. There's Fragrance by CA. There's Notino. There's a bunch of good if I can speak tonight, places where you can get a great discount and save a lot of money. Especially if you're looking for designer fragrances, you can get a really good deal. So, anyways, the Dior homie, rub with Dior, yeah. Funny enough, I kind of am an Armani guy. I like a good Armani. I especially love Armani's exclusive line. A lot of people talk about the Dior exclusives. I've heard that some of the older ones are really good. And some people talk about how they like the Chanel exclusives. But to me, the Armani exclusives are where it's at. I don't know. I'm a funny guy, funny taste, but that's me. Let me know if any of y'all tried any of those Armani exclusives. And shout out to Swift Sense. Shout out to y'all for sending me some of those my way. Those are really nice. Back up that bottle, boss. Angel in the late 90s was my favorite reformulation, took away most of its beauty. Yeah, I think I got a vintage decant of the original Angel. Angel for, I think it was just called Angel. I don't even think it was called Angel for Men. And that stuff was explosive. Some people talk about reformulations and they say fragrances aren't what they used to be. I believe you on that one. The vintage Angel, I think it was with the metal flask. That stuff is beast mode. That stuff is crazy. You can, I'm sure you could, knock some people out if you put on like more than 3 sprays. If you had like 10 sprays of that on and you walked inside a room, you probably could knock people out. So that's some strong stuff. That had some serious performance right there. Anyways, back up. Rob says, I got the minty candy idea from Crypto Mint, but really it's just a fresh, clean scent that my wife and daughter's son and self could disagree. This is a keeper for sure. Yeah, man, rock what you love, man. If that's what you like, I respect that choice, man. It's not a bad fragrance. I didn't dislike it. It just, some things work for you and some things don't. And as a fragrance reviewer, I try to be impartial. I try to review a fragrance and give y'all good information. But sometimes y'all really want my opinion. Sometimes y'all want to know, is this good or do you think it's good or bad? And sometimes I have to tell y'all. So I'm not putting down on Cryptomint. Cryptomint's a good one, for sure. Backup Bottle Boss says, it's cool you have less videos if it stresses you. It's not really stressing me too much, but it is a lot of work to keep up. And I really do want to, build, my fragrance love and the dream. I want to build the dream. So, I might, I might miss a video here and then. I'll still upload like 4 times a week, but I don't know if I'm gonna upload every day for forever. But let me know. Do y'all like me uploading every day? Is it too much? Am I bothering y'all? Are y'all like, oh, there he goes, Benjamin again with another video. This is too much. Let me know if I'm doing enough or if y'all want me to do less. Let me know. Because I see some reviewers and they're actually doing pretty good, and they only upload 3 times a week, maybe less, 2 times a week. And some reviewers are doing a great thing. Yeah, I hate editing. I try to take at one shot. Yeah, I don't like doing editing. I never see it as particularly fun. Yeah, sometimes you can throw in a GIF, throw in some comedy, throw in some music, but I don't know what it is with my computer and my internet connection and everything I got going around here, and all the tech problems that always happen. Um, it with my editing software, it takes me like an hour to edit if I really go through and do a really nice edit, or more. If it's a big shout out video, those can take me up to like 4 hours, because I take everybody's picture, I put the picture on the video, and I have to place the picture at the right place, and then sometimes I put their name in there, and I have to edit myself, and sometimes cut things to work with everybody. Yeah, editing's just annoying. And then I have to get the file converted, the video processed, and I have to wait on my computer for like a whole hour. Um, you know, it's really like a whole nother. It's like having a second job. It really is. Let me catch up with the comments. Great to have you around, fam. Yeah, it's good to see you, Rob. It's always good to have you around too. DJ says keeping up with the latest releases as a reviewer is like keeping up with the Billboard Top 1050 music. The real joy is finding things people miss or never find in the first place. Also saves with stress. You're very true. I mean, if I had a lot more money, if I had, $100 just to throw around for decants, I probably would buy all the recent releases. But I don't live in New York. There's no real reason for me to really try to fight to get the first review, and that's not really what I'm about. I'm not really trying to get the first review, on YouTube. That's not what I'm about. I'm about really giving my opinion, and sometimes I have a different opinion than some people. I have an opinion of Godolphin coming out that's a little bit different from everybody, and y'all know that I gave my opinion of Roja Elysium, and there's some reviewers who didn't like my opinion of that, but that's my opinion. And I had my own opinion of Baccarat Rouge 540. I offended another reviewer one time with that opinion, but I still respect it. I mean, everybody out there. I mean, wear what you truly love. I mean, rock what you got. But if you want my opinion, some of y'all really do want my opinion. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you straight. But yeah, you're right. It's really hard to keep up with all these designer releases. And another reason why I don't talk about all the designer releases in the world is because I find a lot of them uninspired. So me having to review 20 or 30 fragrances or whatever it is every year, if I have to review those and I don't find that they're good releases, I just kind of find it I don't know, kind of drags me down. It's a video I'm not excited about, not excited to do. Brands, people who might be looking at my channel might think I'm always negative. They might think I'm hating on designers or people who want more affordable fragrances. And, I'm always about helping people find a good deal. So I'm certainly not, I don't do that. But, y'all know how it can get. People get touchy. Y'all saw my review of Aqua Amara recently. I wanted to give a balance. There's so much popularity. It's kind of established that Aqua Amara is a really good fragrance and people love it. And there's still a hype train behind it. And it's discontinued and the price is just going to keep going up and up and up. And I wanted to make that video to kind of counterbalance that, especially if there's somebody just getting into fragrances. And y'all know how some fragrance enthusiasts can get. Somebody comes into the fragrance game and they're just new into fragrances, and instead of recommending something that has really good performance, a pretty good smell, and kind of accessible. You know, something that's not too expensive. For some reason, they're going to recommend something discontinued, like Aqua Amara. So that's what I was kind of trying to help people about, or help with. I didn't want it. I tried to kind of counteract some of that because I've seen that kind of stuff happen in the Facebook groups and other places. You know, somebody will ask like, "What's a good long-lasting citrus scent?" And instead of suggesting something like, Dolce Gabbana Light Blue, or there's a number of other citrus fragrances out there that last a long time. Like, if they're a younger guy, like one of the new Aqua di Gio flankers, or there are some good long-lasting. I really like Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Swimming in La Paris. Very salty and ambergris focused, excellent longevity. But anyways, they're going to suggest Aqua Amara, some of these guys, and there's going to be some new fragrance lovers, and they don't really know much about fragrances, and they're going to buy that one for $100 or so in the future, and it's kind of polarizing. I know some of y'all love that fragrance, and I respect you, rock what you got, but if a new somebody is just getting into fragrances, Aqua Amara isn't exactly mass appealing, and I know some people don't want to hear that, but it's not exactly a mass appealing fragrance. And I've done the same thing for Encre Noir. Encre Noir is a beloved fragrance. It's a cult classic. Everybody loves. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people love that fragrance. It's a dark, inky vetiver. You can pretty much get a niche quality fragrance, something very unique, for $30 or so. So, but if you recommend that fragrance to a younger guy or younger person just coming into fragrances, it might scare them away because it's not exactly easy to understand and it's not exactly a mass appealing fragrance. So, I hope that makes sense. That's what I was trying to do. Anyways, let me catch up with the comments. Macy's will do sales on Chanel every once in a while. That's good to know. I've never seen it happen, but I'm sure it does happen sometimes. Hiccup. Hiccup says, but pretty rare. I haven't seen more than 10 to 15. Yeah, 10 to 15% is about the best discount you're gonna get. Robes of Weight has a metal flask on. It's true. Robes of Weight's in the house. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. Robes of Weight has the metal flask. He has the OG. He has the real deal, and he's gonna blast you away. He's gonna blast you into orbit. So, yeah, that metal flask is some real deal stuff. And again, I just had a sample, and I sprayed one spray of the sample, and man, I was like beast mode for like, I don't know, it was something like 8 hours from one spray off a decant, and I couldn't believe how strong that stuff was. I couldn't believe it. Could you recommend your favorite Armani Privé for men? Something wearable, please. If you're a guy out there and you want something wearable and charming and something a little bit different, but yet it's still understandable and people are going to like it, and the ladies are going to like it, you trust me, go out there and sample that Lapis Lazuli, the blue bottle from the Armani Privé collection. It smells distantly, almost like a distant cousin to Leighton by Parfums de Marly, but they're not related. None, they're not copycats of each other. Armani did not copy, Parfums de Marly or vice versa, but they still have a little bit of that depth and that sweetness and a little bit of a similar character about them. But that fragrance is gorgeous. There's something special about it, and it's sweet. It has vanilla. I'm trying to remember. It has like incense and vanilla, and it has a really unique kind of vibe about it, but it's still understandable to the average person. Trust me, if you have that kind of money to throw around, and you want something mass appealing and smells really nice and different, almost nobody out there is smelling like that fragrance. Get that Lapis Lazuli. Get that blue bottle. They're not exactly beast mode. In my experience, they're going to give you about 6, maybe 7 hours, which for everyday situations, that's actually not bad at all. But they are kind of expensive. But they have a smoky leather one. I am going to buy one day. I love that fragrance, and if I have a significant other, I'm definitely going to get her the Damask Rose. That's one of the most realistic Damascus rose, a very spicy, beautiful, dry, like desert rose, and from the Armani Privé collection. And that stuff is truly gorgeous. I know that some reviewers don't like people throwing around the word masterpiece. I've already used it once in this video to describe Jubilation 25, but that Damask Rose, that one, that might even not be, it might not even be the name. I might not be remembering it correctly, but it's the Damascus, the Rose one, um, from the Armani Privé. It's a masterpiece in my opinion. Truly gorgeous, truly well made. Best Brands Perfume says, "Hello, Benjamin. Hey, Best Brands Perfume. I haven't seen you in a while. I know that you're really busy, like I am, and I think you've been busy, my friend. I haven't seen you in a while. I need to catch up with more of your videos. I know you're doing a great thing. If y'all don't know Best Brands Perfume, he does sell fragrances too. So if you like any of the deals he has going on, you might want to check him out. I'm not affiliated. He's not he's not in my pocketbook or any. I'm in his pocketbook or anything like that. But he's another reviewer, so definitely check him out if you like anything he's got. I think that I can't even remember. There's another fragrance reviewer who's selling fragrances too. It's not. I can picture his face, but his name's not coming to me. He's a younger guy. Anyways, Backup Bottle Boss says, "It's the smell, not the performance of vintage fragrances I lament. That it's just that they don't smell as good." Jupe, Amen, Dolce Gabbana PH, etc. Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. The older fragrances are definitely more complex. Older fragrances used to they used to have a lot more complexity, and sometimes they used to use more natural ingredients. Um, a lot of modern perfumery they still use some naturals, but I don't think they use as many naturals as they used to, and their concentrations in the past I think were a little bit stronger. Again, regulations is probably the biggest thing that takes away. Regulations keep taking away from these fragrances and kind of limit what perfumers can do. But there's always new aroma chemicals being created. There's always new ingredients and substances being found. So even though there's limitations, there's always something new. So it's always exciting. Anyways, I agree with you. Fragrances of the past used to be a little bit more complex for sure, and some people really do miss that. I've talked to a lot of people, and they say the same thing. Best Brands Perfume says, "Has anyone tried any stuff from the Canon line?" I haven't. I've never tried anything from Canon. Canon Crush, Canon Rank, Canon File. Never tried that brand. I don't know much about it. What's your opinion on the new Parfums de Marly Cologne? I've never tried it. I don't think I've tried it either, but from what it sounds like, I don't think I would like it, but I probably should go in with an unbiased opinion. But from other people's reviews and from what they've said and from what I've heard, I probably wouldn't like it, especially for the price. I think Parfums de Marly fragrances are very nice. I respect the brand. I wouldn't mind having a bottle of maybe Godolphin, and I would like a bottle of Leighton Exclusive, but I think that they're $150 fragrances or $175 fragrances. I don't think that they're $300 fragrances, but that's just my personal opinion. People are buying them and people love them. I do wish that people would talk kind of less about Parfums de Marly because there's so many good brands out there. There's so many undiscovered fragrances. There's so many good niche brands. There's even some of these bigger names that people are starting to get onto. A lot of them are still undiscovered. There's so many good Guerlain fragrances people don't know about. So many good Serge Lutens fragrances people don't know about. I love the House of Carnar Barcelona. A lot of people don't know a lot about Carnar Barcelonas. A lot of people haven't dived into the House of Nichonnet, and there's just all these good houses out there, and you could just go on and on and on. So I'm not trying to put down on Parfums de Marly, but you know, I feel like there's a little bit. It's a little too popular for its own good. A little bit too much talk about the Parfums de Marly. It's a good house, but there's other stuff out there. Let's calm down about Parfums de Marly just a little bit. And if anybody, if you're a Parfums de Marly representative and you don't want to deal with me if you were thinking about it, I'm sorry. Goodbye. I guess I won't be getting any free bottles. So, anyways, the FW Shade says my opinion on Elysium changed over time. At first, it was meh for me. A few months later, in Texas heat, and I loved it. Yeah, sometimes you got to give a fragrance a try. Sometimes you got to wear it a couple times, and sometimes it can grow on you, and sometimes you might actually find that you dislike the fragrance. It really just depends. And sometimes fragrances really do better in certain temperatures, and that's sometimes why I recommend certain fragrances for certain seasons. Y'all don't have to live or die by, of course, my personal opinion. But when I talk about certain things, maybe being better for the spring and the, spring and fall, or fall winter, or maybe better for spring and summer, that's just my personal experience and my personal opinion with how the fragrances react to temperature. And of course, my personal, I have my own opinion with my nose. My skin chemistry is different, and my temperature is different too, because I live in a whole different place in the world. Probably it might be very different from where you live. So your seasons might be different, and your temperatures might be very different. So definitely take that into consideration. Um, Anyways, thank you for that thought, DFW. DJ says, yeah, the top 10 lists get old fast when they mention the same common designers over and over and over, like Blue Day Chanel's. Yeah, yeah, I completely agree, and I've said that a couple times, and I'm not trying to bash on any reviewers out there. There's a couple of them I could bash, and but I'm not going to. But some of them are just essentially making excuses to make top 10 lists. You can make top 10 lists that are creative, and meanwhile, I still will do my seasonal ones. I'm going to come out with one, in the near future. Not really soon, but maybe in a week or two. But I'm not going to do them every video. Some of these reviewers are doing them to play into the system. YouTube really recommends top 10 videos, and there's a lot of people who do like them. Um, I think you just have to vote with your with your viewership. Just like if you love a company or disagree with a company, you vote with your dollar, you vote with your wallet. If you truly love, my content, Robes Waite's content, Best Brands Perfumes content, and maybe some of these other guys' content that are doing a fantastic job. Some of these people, like when I do my shout out videos, some of them are fantastic. People out there. There's some really good people who are upcoming in the community, and some good established people who have always done a good job. You got to support them and watch them, and maybe even talk about them and share them. And also, you got to hit the notification bell and hit all. I know that's a shameless plug, but I upload every day. And if you don't hit all notifications, when you hit the bell, it's only going to give you some notifications. And YouTube is funny. If you subscribe, the system should be made that if you subscribe, that you get notified of my uploads. People have to not only hit the subscribe button, but they have to hit the bell and hold the bell button and press all notifications. It's a little bit tedious. It's a little bit annoying, I know, but you got to support the good people out there. Again, I've talked about Tom Elise. If you want niche, I mean, by golly, in my opinion, she's the niche queen. If you want niche and if you want indie, Tom Elise is doing a wonderful job out there, and she's a joy to watch. Definitely support Tom Elise out there. She's doing a really good thing. And there's plenty of other good people. There's always a good person out there. So, anyways, Eugene Baptiste says, "Hey, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you this evening. Good to see you." Max May says, "Hey Benjamin, I came across Noir de Noir. It's always hard for me to say that for some reason. Noir de Noir. While looking across a rose-based fragrance, I don't think it's supposed to be rose heavy, but it looks interesting. What do you think of it?" I don't want to get myself in hot water, but if you want my true opinion on it, here comes Ben. Here comes real Ben. I don't like the fragrance. On my Fragrantica, I was very brutal about it. Some people love that fragrance. I don't like the original Noir, and I don't like the Noir de Noir. I think it smells a little like oddly, slightly soapy in the background. It's to me, it's slightly green, and it does have a little bit of rose. It's not really rose heavy. I get this like really, for me, to my nose, I mostly get this really odd animalic fragrance that smells almost like it has this like weird fluffy vintage facet to it, like green and vintage. It's really odd, and it kind of comes and goes. It smells a little bit dark, and it might be alluring to some people. Maybe it was my skin chemistry. And again, this is my personal opinion. You might absolutely love the fragrance. It might be your favorite fragrance that you've ever smelled and that you've ever liked. So I would certainly recommend that you get out there and sample it. But if you were going for a rose based fragrance, there are some really nice ones. I would recommend Declaration en Soir Intense. It's very accessible. On a place like FragranceNet, it's very affordable. It has a lot of cardamom and rose. It's very charming. And even though it's unisex, I do feel like it leans a little bit more masculine. So if you're a guy out there, even though it has a lot of rose to it, I don't think that it would scare you away exactly. And if you have a lot of money and you want something artistic, definitely go for Kazemi by House of Matriarch. If you have the money, that's a really nice rose as well. Um, if you're looking for a little sultry date night fragrance, something a little bit alluring, something for a close encounter, I would go for the Noir Extreme by Tom Ford. I think that the Noir Extreme is the much better option, even though it doesn't project very much, in my opinion, and it could last longer too. It's only like a 6 hour fragrance on my skin, but it's very nice and it's very soft and it's a little bit linear, but ladies love it. It's charming. It's a little charmer. It sings a little song, and the ladies like the song. So, anyways, uh, I hope that I helped you. If I can speak this evening, I'm tired. Anyways, the backup bottle boss says those Parfum de Marley's are 150-ish on Fragrance by CA. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you find a great deal on it, sweep that up. If you like the smell of a Parfums de Marley for 150 bucks, I think that a Parfums de Marley is worth 150. So definitely get out there and buy that. I just say that because I compare it to a lot of fragrances that are in the $150 range, like Serge Lutens and Byron. And there's a number of other good brands out there that are at the $150 range. And I really don't feel like Parfums de Marley is. I wouldn't feel justified in paying more than like 200 bucks for one. And for me personally, they just really don't grab me a lot of the time. I think Carlisle was really nice, if I remember right. I think that was like the dark apple spice cinnamon one. I think Carlisle was nice, and there was another one like in a black bottle, and the Leighton exclusive. Anyways, let's stop talking about late. Let's stop talking about Parfums de Marley. DFW Shade says hate Creed Royal Mayfair reminds me of potpourri scented Raid bug spray. I don't get the Raid bug spray exactly, but I do certainly get the potpourri smell. Maybe like an old lady's house. I don't like Royal Mayfair either. I do think it has that vintage ladies vibe to it. It's that white floral quality to me really does come through. Not for me. I don't like Royal Mayfair, especially for the price. No go. I like how Robes Await does top 10s or top 20s once a season or so. Yeah, that's more of like what I'm gonna do. More just 4 seasonal top 10 videos. If I find a reason why I think one really needs to be made, like this year is a whole new year, I might make another top 10, attractive or, really seductive fragrance list. I might make something that I really needs to be done. Like, I don't think that there's enough. Again, I'm giving my ideas out there. Somebody might steal my ideas, but I think that there needs to be a sandalwood top 10 list. I don't think there's been one of those. Smelling great fragrance reviews might have already done one. If he hasn't, he's probably going to do another one. I think that sometimes I'm an influence, and maybe I just tell myself that to make myself feel good. But this is another train of thought. I'm jumping topics. But I've been talking about Ambrette recently a lot and explaining what it is. And y'all know that Smelling Great or Smelling Good Fragrance Reviews did a video pretty recently talking about the note of Ambrette. So I like to think that me and him are friends somehow. Of course, you know, Robes awaits in the house, so mad respect to you and anybody else. So, anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna do too many top 10 videos. I'm not gonna blast you. Um, if I ever do more than one top 10 video a week, y'all need to slap me into shape and remind me to stop playing the game. But again, I recognize why people are doing this. You know, even some people are kind of selling their souls in the fragrance community for top 10 list, but they're chasing they're chasing the numbers and they're getting views. And again, I'm not a hater of Jeremy Fragrance. I want to be very clear. I respect his enthusiasm and his charm, and he gets younger guys very interested into the hobby, very interested in fragrances, and that's a good thing. But one of the reasons why he was able to jump so fast, he's good looking, he's charismatic, he has beautiful ladies on his channel, but also he was one of the first YouTubers who really started doing top 10 lists. And I think people are starting to realize that more. And I've mentioned it a few times. I'll say the truth out there. And, top 10 lists get you views, top 10 lists get you subscribers. Top 10 lists are it's the hot thing right now. And I know some of us real fragrance enthusiasts and some of us real fragrance lovers don't like to hear that. And we get really bored of top 10 lists. But for the average, there's millions, tens of millions of people who watch YouTube out there. They're probably not watching dedicated videos every day. And when a top 10 list comes across their path, top 10 most popular fragrances, they might want to hear about what's the most popular, trendy new Sauvage, what's the new Acqua di Gio, what's the, maybe there's going to be another Aventus flanker. I don't know. They're going to want to hear about that. So I know what they're doing. It's just not for me. So I'm just trying to say I'm not bashing anybody. But it does get annoying. If you're a fragrance enthusiast, top 10 lists are just annoying and ridiculous at this point. DJ says, I'm currently in love with Rogue. Chypre Siam, such clean fragrance and unique. Is that the one that's oak moss focused? I'm not sure if I remember right. But yeah, Rogue is really nice. The Devonish is the one that really stole my attention. Rogue Perfumery, it's a really nice brand. I tried Declaration on Soir, but it was heavier on the woods, and I've tried the Intense. I got a good deal on some of the House of Matriarch samples. Can't believe I bumped Cazimi for other samples. Yeah, Max May, I don't know. You got to find your Goldilocks. You got to find your perfect rose fragrance. I don't know, what kind of rose are you looking for? I really do like a damask rose. I like the dry, spicy quality of that desert rose, and it's kind of exclusive and rare and Arabian, and I like the exotic feel of it. A lot of fragrances have more of the Bulgarian rose feel, or just like just a regular kind of rose feel to the fragrance. So, let me know. Maybe I can help you a little bit better. Let me know what kind of rose fragrance are you looking for. I'm trying to remember the name of it. There's one by what's that brand called? Gallagher, Rosé All Day. It has a steel, I think, accord or a silver accord, and I think it's a little bit on the sweet side. You might like Rosé All Day by Gallagher. I don't even think I've tried it before, but I think I remember people really, really liking that fragrance. So that's another rose one that probably might be worth seeking out and trying. Anyways, catch up with the comments. Thanks for your recommendations. I'm here for you, Max May. I'm here for you 100%. Black Orchid smells so I want to say that word, but I did one time and my video got flagged and I was like, ugh. But I know what you're saying. On my girl, my favorite Tom Ford. Yeah, if you have a confident lady, if you have a lady who knows who she is, maybe she has a mouth on her, maybe she's a little bit bold, maybe she wears a little bit of steel chains, or maybe she's not afraid of latex or something like that. Black Orchid is a serious fragrance, and it's a seriously good one too. Um, you know, it's not for everybody. It's a little bit more daring. It's a niche fragrance. It is Tom Ford. A lot of people, again, you have to consider that niche is a little bit daring. I talk about niche and indie, but you know, you have to find what you love because you're probably going to dislike more than you like, most likely. So you have to kind of test and try out a lot of stuff. Um, Anyways, I see what you're saying, man. Black Orchid's a good fragrance. DFW says, when Sebastian at Smelling Good does his list, I have to have Fragrantico pulled up on my tablet. It's nice though, kind of like exploring outside my own sandbox. Yeah, he does a really good job with the top tens. I think Sebastian does a great job of making top 10 lists very worthwhile, meaningful. Um, you know, I might do a top 10 list every week. I don't want to sound like I'm completely against them, but I had to slow down and I had to kind of recuperate because I kind of lost a vision of myself and my channel a little bit because I was kind of chasing the views with top 10 list and I just didn't feel like I was being authentic to myself. And that's why I did a bunch of live videos for a while. I just sat down in front of the camera and just talked about fragrance in general. I let things fly. I let us have a good time, and I recuperated from that because I was trying to remember all these details and memorize facts and factoids and you know, think of a new list to do every day, and it wasn't a fun thing for me to do. It really helped my channel grow, but it was not something I felt like I wasn't being true to myself. Um, Anyways, where are you guys watching this? To take advice on the Upscale Gentleman Club. They all go out tomorrow night. Okay, my friend. Hey, he's saying, hey guys, if you're looking for, you know, if you're looking for a date, you know, if you're looking for a lady, hit the streets. You know, go out tomorrow night. You know, when all the other guys are preoccupied. You know, go out there and find a lonely lassie. DJ says, Rogue and Gallagher are my favorite houses by a long shot. Wicked Good is worth the price to me. I gotta try it. I think I remember, what's her name? Eva Monroe. I think she said that one wasn't worth the money, but I gotta try it. I gotta give it a try. I love a gourmand, so I'm gotta try it. DJ Ginkai says Sebastian's cheapy videos are a gold mine. Yeah, he does a good job for sure. And Valley Vaughn's in the house. Hey, Valley Vaughn. How you doing today? What's your scent of the day? Whew, I finally caught up with the comments, did I? I think I did. I finally caught up with the comments. That was a lot of them. And I really do appreciate that. We're having a good conversation. We've been on here for an hour and a half almost. This is why you're great, Ben. You take time to answer everybody. Yeah, Misty, for sure. And if y'all don't know, I respond to every single comment as much as I can. Sometimes I miss one or two, but I even go into my administrator. I get onto my YouTube, I guess, management, and I find I look at all my comments and I try to find the ones that I haven't responded to. So sometimes I've responded to 100% of all comments on my YouTube channel. I don't think I get an award for that. I don't think I get much of a kudos, but I don't know if everybody else does that as a reviewer. But I do love building a friendship and building a community, and being friends with you guys. So thank you for that compliment, Misty. It means a lot. I'm wearing Molinard Vanilla Fruit. That sounds gorgeous, Valley Vaughn. I haven't tried that one. I've heard a lot of good things about Molinard for the price, you know, getting them for $50 or so. Really nice. What are you rocking today, Ben? I'm wearing 3 fragrances. I got these really nice decants. Again, if y'all were here at the first beginning of the episode, you already heard, but I'm just going to mention it real quick again. I don't think I mentioned this one, though. This is Amore Oud's Whetstone. It smells kind of like a vetiver fragrance. It smells like a gentlemanly fragrance, like an office fragrance, a little bit more in line with something like Herman by Etat Libre d'Orange. Something in the family of Grey Vetiver by Tom Ford, kind of that style of fragrance. I really like this fragrance, and Amor Oud has some really good releases. But honestly, for this style of fragrance, I think that Olmsted and Vox by Fleur is probably my favorite of this style of fragrance. I don't even have a bottle. I really do need to get a bottle and support those guys. Fleur is a really nice brand, at least in my opinion. Really nice. I need to buy a bottle. I have a lot of things on my buy list. Trust me. Anyways, I'm wearing this one, Whetstone by Amor Oud, Instant Crush by Mansara. That's this one. And the last one was none other than Cure Cordoba by Kiko Mecherie. So I'm wearing 3 fragrances right now. I actually have Instant Crush sprayed like 3 times. So I'm testing them. Instant Crush is really nice. I'm getting my head wrapped around it, trying to understand it. I don't think it's for me, even though I think it's a gorgeous fragrance, and even though I see why it sells like hotcakes and people are crazy for it. I think I might have to give it away because it's just not my style. But it's really nice. It's really sweet. DJ says, "What's the performance on Molinard fragrances? I don't know. I've heard they're pretty good. That's why you're #1. Thank you, Misty. I thank you for the compliment, Misty. That means a lot. It's a decant, it's decent, not a monster, but not weak either. Yeah, I've heard that Molinard's pretty good. Again, I've talked about performance a lot on my channel. You know, if you're going out and about, you know, you probably want a 6 or 7 hour fragrance. A lot of the fragrances that are 8 hours plus, you know, it really depends on how the fragrance is composed. It might be mostly base notes, and the projection might not be overwhelming for people. But especially with a designer fragrance, when most things are top notes, if you get more of a designer or mass appealing fragrance that lasts 8+ hours, the top notes are often really going to be a big part of the fragrance or a big focus of the fragrance, and you're kind of going to blast people away. Think of something like Invictus by Paco Rabanne, if you know what I'm saying. You have to be careful on the trigger with that one. So, yeah. Anyways, 6 or 7 hours is really good performance for most situations, in my opinion. Unless it's a winter fragrance, for winter fragrances, I want the best performance I usually can get. I want it to be strong. Max May says, "Uh-oh, Instant Crush is not instant win for you." Well, Instant Crush is good. I recognize that's a very nice fragrance. It's very good. But even though sometimes I recognize fragrances are very, very good, they're very well made. I can see why other people love them. I have to wear fragrances that I truly like and I truly want. That's why I'm so selective with my fragrances, and I buy and I sell so many. I only keep around things that I like really, really want to wear. So I sell off a lot of my stuff that I buy and that I review. You know, and again, that's just me. I'm not saying that other people have to be like that. You know, some people like to be collectors. Some people love to have 300 bottles and have like all the Mugler fragrances or all the Armani, or, you know, collect fragrances. I'm not that way personally. I'm funny that way. Anyways, Miami Call says, "Dude, invite me into the live." I don't think that, is there a way to do that? I don't think that there's a way to do that on YouTube. I'm just on my phone. I don't really play around with StreamYard. No, Mr. Miami Cuddles. I play around with Instagram a lot. If you want to, I can possibly get you live on my Instagram tomorrow. I think I'm going to try to get on there if I can. Let me know if you want to. I'm sorry, I just don't play around with StreamYard. What's up, Miami? Mr. Miami Cuddles and Cali Reviews are in the house. They're both good reviewers. If y'all know who they are, definitely check them out. Give them a chance. Jay, you want to live with me? It seems like you're gonna do your own thing. I'm about to end my video, so yeah, definitely put out your live. And if y'all want to, you know, head over to Mr. Miami Cuddles. I mean, I don't mind, you know, shouting you out, man. for sure. Don't be afraid to sell fragrances you don't like or anything you get for free. Monetizing any way you can get isn't being a sellout. I agree. I think people are only really sellouts if they review something and they're dishonest for the brand. I don't think that happens too often. I think when reviewers really become sellouts is when they just overview a fragrance, and I think that happens more often. A lot of people worry about reviewers just giving things like glowing reviews and loving them because they got it for free. I think they're more likely, instead of to be overtly positive, I think they're more likely to overview the possible negatives. Like if it doesn't last very long but it smells gorgeous, they might not mention that it only lasts for 5 hours. Or if it's not as a big of a compliment getter as you might think, they might not really mention that. Or something like Baccarat Rouge 540, for example. Some people truly love it, but I don't understand the hype behind that one, or Ventus Cologne. You know that it's Baccarat Rouge 540 is not mass appealing as I think a lot of people think, and Aventus Cologne, the transition from the opening to the mid, it's just a big flop. It just like the opening dies and it doesn't transition well, and they took away the pineapple, and again there's no ambergris, and it smells like Allure Homme. I mean, to me, Aventus Cologne is a tragic fail. It's one of the worst releases, if not the worst release of 2019. But that's my opinion, of course. I'm just being brutal over here, but anyways. Yeah, that's cool. Message me, bro. Bro. Max May says, I hear ya. I have too many bottles. That makes me anxious. I'm kind of that way. I get annoyed. If I had over 100 bottles and I looked at them and I thought about how much money I had in them and they're collecting dust, that would bother me. So I have 60 or so bottles now, and I really don't need any more fragrances, probably for the rest of my life. But there are probably 40 or 50 more fragrances I'm probably going to buy, and I'm going to have lots of decants, lots and lots of decants. So I'm never really going to dedicate a room. I'm never going to have 500 fragrances. I'm never going to have 1,000 fragrances. I'm never going to do that. If I wanted to be that way, and if I wanted to have that, I probably, and if I was that wealthy, I would just buy a fragrance. I would start up a company and start a fragrance boutique. So I could walk in there and say, these are my fragrances, and wear them anytime, anywhere, and not have to worry about it because they're all testers. Am I crazy? I'm crazy. I know it. Anyways, am I crazy cool? I don't know. I hear you. Having too many bottles makes me anxious, and samples a lot. Yeah, 2 bottles, but 24 decants. I see that. I respect it. I only buy full fragrances if the scent makes sense to do a double take. Yeah, especially if you're buying a bigger bottle, that better be a fragrance that you like wearing all the time, and it might need to be mass appealing or kind of versatile. Like one of the few big bottles I still have around is my Eau Trace Fresh by Hermes, and I love to wear that fragrance all year round, 24/7, and I truly love that fragrance, and it is pretty mass appealing. It's pretty classy too, so but that's again, that's just me. If Let me see here, I'll just get a decant and cut cost tremendously. That's true. If you're buying a niche fragrance that's really difficult or really interesting, and you might only wear it once a year or twice a year, whenever you're in the mood, you don't need 100 mils. 5 mils, 10 mils might be just perfect. It is kind of annoying that sometimes your decants, if they're not sealed right, they can evaporate away. But decants really are the way to go if you're a big fragrance lover, at least in my opinion. If you want more variety for less money, at least. Yeah, a bad fragrance with a pretty package. I see that, DJ. I see that. Eugene Baptiste says, I have about 40 bottles. I want to get some niche and Indian designer. Yeah, you got 40 bottles. That definitely, I mean, pick and choose what you want. That's the thing with me. once you get past 10, especially 20 bottles, in my opinion, you should start becoming very, very picky, because you have everything covered probably at 5 to 10 bottles. Once you get to 10 to 20 bottles, you probably have some redundant fragrances, or you probably have everything for special occasions and every day, and probably something for every mood. Once you get past that mark, 20, 30, 40, 50, in my opinion, you gotta start being very picky about what you want and what you like. And my if you have a mind like me, if you're more practical, because if you keep having redundant fragrances, if you have 30 blue fragrances, I don't know if that makes you happy. If people out there, if that makes them happy, feel free to do whatever you want. But that's not something I would do for me. That wouldn't make sense to me, because I want variety, and I want different smells for different occasions, and yeah, kind of gets to that argument, like, how many fragrances do we really need? How many fragrances do you need? Um, but of course, we're kind of getting past the point of practicality, aren't we? We're past the point of redemption. We're fragrance addicts, I guess. A Red Lesson stopped by, eh, man? Red Lesson's in the house. I appreciate you, my friend, stopping by to say hello. I hope you're doing all as well. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm kind of tired, you know, but it's good to see you, Red Lessons. It's a joy to have you here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And y'all know that Red Lessons has good content. There's no doubt about that. DJ Ginkai says, I paid for 200 mil of 1 million Privé and a full Killian apple brandy. I need to try that apple brandy. I know it's going to be gorgeous. I've always heard good things. Those are worth it for me. I'm sure they are. Those are really nice. And that 1 million Privé, it might not be exactly good for the heat, but you could wear that anytime, anywhere. That's good juice. Backup Bottle Boss says, be careful, E. Jean Baptiste. That's where the hobby can get crazy expensive in samples. It's very true. And you say a great thing, Backup Bottle Boss. In total cool retrospect, I don't need all the bottles I have. Samples would have worked. It's true. And even with samples, I got mad at myself for buying so many samples. I've spent hundreds of dollars into samples. And if you live near a boutique, or maybe you want to go on a vacation, or maybe you want to save up for a special Christmas trip and go to a big city, and find yourself a good boutique, ask for samples, buy as many fragrances. Ask for samples and try the fragrances, and maybe buy your fragrances there. Because if you're going for niche and more exclusive things, because then you'll really be able to test all these things and try them out, and not have to pay for all the samples. Some people don't like, I don't know if they do or don't like to hear me talk about samples, but even samples can add up. Some very small samples, especially if you get into expensive things like oud. I have paid, I think it was an Arige Lador sample, and it was one of those daubers. It was like 0.7 mils. It wasn't even a whole mil, and it was like 12. I think it might have been over $12. And I remember at the time thinking, I'm like, what am I doing? But I'm like, I want to try a fragrance from this brand, and I want to experience it, so I did it. But was it worth it? Probably not. $12 for like one drop, the tiniest drop of fragrance. And I didn't exactly love the fragrance. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. But so for $12, nah. Anyways, the big fragrance spreads, you see reviewers' channels are never going to be worn in a lifetime. Yeah, it's true. Always a pleasure to tune in. Yeah, Red Lessons, thank you so much for stopping by. You're a generous guy, you're a cool guy, and I really do appreciate you for stopping by and supporting us smaller fragrance reviewers. Some of the upcoming fragrance reviewers, sometimes they feel like maybe they don't think I'm, I don't know, reachable or approachable, or maybe they don't think I'm as friendly because I have almost 2,000. I was where you were at not too long ago. I feel you, I understand you, and I care about you. And you can always ask for a fragrance recommendation, or ask to be a friend, or suggest a tag video or a collaboration. I need to get back to Solano. I know Solano's a great guy, and I have a tag video I talked to him about. I need to get back with him about that. So I'm definitely here for all the everybody in the fragrance community, and I really love that people like Robes Await and Redolessence and some of these people out there, that you don't have to be here, Redolessence, but I really do appreciate it. You're a great guy. Also stop doing hauls. Yeah, hauls kind of encourage people to just buy. It just encourage it. You see everybody else buying, and then you watch the video and you get excited, and you tell yourself it wouldn't be strange for me to buy 10 bottles at once. And buying 10 bottles at once is, I mean, if you have the money, and if it's not a strain on your pocketbook, if you have the disposable income, if you're not buying on a credit card, please don't rack up credit card debt. Do things like I've done before. I did that for Christmas for my family, which wasn't a good idea. But anyways, be sensible about it. Be careful. Um, Anyways, always a pleasure. Back 30 mil decants. Yeah, you can be very happy, and 30 mils will probably do you. Stop doing hauls. Finally caught you on a live stream. I'm normally working, miss out. His and Hers Fragrance Reviews is another upcoming fragrance reviewer. He's a great guy. Please check him out. He's another guy. He's humble as pie. He's a cool guy. He does live sometimes, and I think I was hanging out with you last time, and I might have been one of the only guys in there with you. So definitely be a friend to His and Hers Fragrance Reviews. He's a good guy. I think it deserves some love. So if you like me and my content, I think that you might like him too. He's a good guy. How many reviewers do you have, His and Hers Fragrance Reviews? Last time I saw, I think you had, what was it, 60 or 70 or something like that? I think that you need some love. Red Essence says you deserve many more than 2,000 subscribers. I always tune in when I can. Hey man, that's a big compliment, and I really love that. I hope that I can get to 2,000 real quick. I was hoping to get to 2,000 by Christmas, but that just didn't happen. That was not in the works. It wasn't in the big design, and well, we're gonna get there though. So thank you so much for the love, Red Essence. I appreciate that. 2,000, here we come. I think I need like 60 or 70 or something. And I'll show my fragrance collection. If that motivates y'all to 2,000, I'll show my fragrance collection. Spread the word if y'all get me to 2,000. DJ says, congrats on your line, Redolessence. I look forward to trying all of them soon. I'm genuinely happy for you. And yeah, Redolessence, I'm here for you too with your line. I haven't tried your fragrances yet. Even if I don't like them, I still respect you, just like Jeremy Fragrance. And I probably will like some of your fragrances, but just like Jeremy, even though I didn't like Office for Men, I respect his tenacity. I respect his work ethic and what he's doing. He's making a brand and a name for himself. I didn't think that there maybe was the price maybe wasn't what it should have been, but I respect his game, and some people might say the grind and all kinds of different things. So I respect you. Respect. You're where we all want to be, and that's why I heard that you were getting some hate in comments and stuff, and I think that might come down to it. People get jealous. They think you're just an average guy and you just sat down on a couch and you just talked about fragrance, and that somehow overnight that you're creating your own brand and a business, and you have ad revenue, and brands want to work with you, and you're an expert in your field, and people think that just happens overnight. And I don't even know how long you've been reviewing fragrances, Redolessence. How long have you been? I think, was it Robes? I think he said he had been doing it for 8 years or 9 years, or going on 9 years. I forget, but that's dedication. I mean, that's building. And in any, anybody else in the world, if you were doing something like this for 8 years dedicated, skiing or football or anything else in the world, soccer, anything, archery, just anything out there, you'd be considered an expert. And I think that, we got to call these people what they are. I mean, you might disagree with some of their opinions, but they got experience, and that's what makes an expert. So, Let's see here. Yeah, thank you, DJ. Backup Bottle Boss. Thank you for the $2. Thanks for the live stream. Rose the Wait is live at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I probably should get off of this. I've been on here for almost an hour and 50 minutes, but I do appreciate y'all for being here, and I don't want to feel like I'm a hog. You know, some reviewers, you feel like you want to give them time for their lives, and you don't want to compete with them. So I think that you know, Mr. Miami and Cali might be starting a live. Stay tuned for that, and definitely Robes. I mean, he's legit. May I suggest Intimus for Red Lessons' line? Really good stuff. I gotta try it. I will. May or may not. Maybe sorry. No, no problem. I've been doing it for almost 8. I think Mark is doing it around for 11. That's dedication. And if that doesn't make, I know some people don't like the word expert and they don't like the word guru, and it might sound like I'm kissing up to you, but really I'm just trying to show that respect because, you know, some people are hating on you. I've seen some of that in comment sections, and I've heard people are hating on you, but you know, doing something for 8 or 11 years, I mean, you have a lot of experience and you've seen a lot and you know a lot. And if that's not an expert, I don't know what an expert is. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, it says I recently won a bottle of Office from a giveaway from Mr. Clone 76. That was the only way I was ever going to get my nose on it. Yeah, and again, I'm not hating on Jeremy. I just it just wasn't a fragrance that I was appealed to me, and especially for the price point. It's no. Great stream. Thanks for sharing. Of course, man, and I appreciate your comments. All of y'all are being very chatty and very involved, and I love this. It means a lot. DJ says Matari Parfumer in Gantier is a great house with enormous performance hardly ever mentioned. I'm going to try to take a screenshot. Hopefully, I'll remember to look into them, DJ. There's a lot of good brands out there, and you're very right. That's very kind of you. Thanks so much. Yeah, for sure, man. Red Lessons, you're legit. For sure. Oh, I just got disconnected for a second, and I don't know, my phone might be telling me I'm running low on power. I don't know, guys. Hopefully, y'all can still see me. Do y'all see me? And Javoy. Yeah, Javoy is a really nice brand. I think Smelling Good Fragrance Reviews talks about psychedelic, and I really want to get that one. I already have my love, my true adoration for patchouli. I have a vintage bottle of Il Profumo of a patchouli noir from Il Profumo, which is there's all kinds of great niche brands that aren't talked about. If I had the money, I really want to get into Fragrance du Bois. Anyways, get on Lucky Scent, of course, if you're a fragrance lover and you want to explore more niche. Lucky Scent is amazing, and I think they ship worldwide. So, and I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. If I mention them, I tell y'all if I got something for free. But I mean, Fragrance by CA doesn't give me anything. FragranceNet probably doesn't even know who I am. Most of these companies, Lucky Scent has no idea who I am. Twisted Lily might. I bought a bunch of samples from them a long time ago, and I told them one time, I'm like, hey, I talked about your samples. I don't think they responded. Um, Anyways, I gotta go, y'all. I don't want to take up your all night. I know y'all are it's getting late, and y'all have places to be, things to do, getting ready for parties and spending time with family or whatever. So, have you tried Vagabond Prince Enchanted Forest? I have. It's a really nice. It's a black currant heavy fragrance and has a beautiful, interesting, like smooth green woody dry down. It's a gorgeous fragrance. And if you like black currant, if you love black currant, you got to try Enchanted Forest. If you like those dark green, heavier fragrances that aren't overtly gourmand, it's not overtly rich, or it's not a tobacco fragrance, it's not a tonka fragrance, it's not a coffee fragrance, it's something different. And black currant is the fruit and the sweetness that really gives Cedroc Boisé by Mansara its sweetness and its character. So if you love Cedroc Boisé, and you want something darker and maybe something a little bit more masculine, that's a great fragrance. I really would recommend Enchanted Forest by the Vagabond Prince. But of course, it's not cheap. very few people really know about it. It's kind of exclusive. You know, not many people have heard about it. It's not easy to find exactly, so you have to really get out there and search for it online. I'm not sure if any who sells it. Lucky Scent might sell it. I'm not even sure who sells it. So, um, anyways, DJ Ginkai says, "Have a great night." Yeah, I'll see y'all, my friends. I gotta go. I wish y'all a fantastic day tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do another live around the same time, you know, 5, 6 ish, maybe Central Time. Um, Hopefully, y'all can come back and we can have another great chat. I'm gonna try to do these every weekend, every Saturday for sure, maybe every Sunday. So, definitely here for y'all. If y'all have questions for me on, you know, definitely feel free to do that here or message me on my Facebook Messenger or on my Instagram. And before I go, I got to do a shameless plug. So if y'all don't know my Instagram, I'm Scentatar_fragrance. And if you want to become friends with other Scentatar fragrance lovers, you know, other lovers of my channel, I do have a Facebook group. It's called Scentatar Fragrance Family. And send me a request, and I'd be happy to add you. We just talk about our scent of the days. I sometimes ask y'all questions. I post my videos, so y'all always stay up to date and you know, never miss out on an episode. So anyways, I'll see y'all, my friends. Eugene Baptiste says, "Love Radolescence's content. Currently can't afford his stuff, but they sound like they smell great." I can't really afford them either. That's one reason I can't. If I had the money right now, I might just buy myself a Discovery set, but I really shouldn't do that right now. Anyways, thanks, Ben, so much, and Eugene Baptiste. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time, my friends. This is the Scentatar Fragrance Channel. Peace out, my friends. Have a good night. Have a good time. Thank y'all so much for the love and support. It means the world. So I'll see y'all next time, my friends. Bye, everybody.